Firstly, grateful to them because they pushed the book up to #1 on Amazon. And secondly, I'm not surprised. I mean, for them, any criticism is always poisonous and damaging, and particularly from me. But I can assure you it's very well sourced from the person who heard it from the Queen's mouth. And it's true. I mean, that's the point. It is actually, unfortunately, true. The private, she is an absolutely screaming woman, unable to control her emotions when she's criticised. Will she dump Harry? Well, there's no evidence that she will. But many believe that it's impossible for the marriage to continue.
Scared of Tom Bauer. They're scared of what he's going to report because they know it's true. They know there's truth to it. If it's just deranged and crazy and fixation and whatever, then just ignore it. The truth will bear out. Generally, people will ignore what they seem as or deem as sort of on a crazy end of the spectrum. But that's not what Tom Bauer is doing. Tom Bauer is being a journalist here and reporting the facts. And the facts terrify Meghan Markle especially. She can't deal with them. She has to live in her delusional fantasy, and she hates anybody who tries to break it.
And what is really annoying is that we shouldn't have to in any way admire what they're doing in Dusseldorf, because they have wrecked with all their lies. The lies on Oprah Winfrey, the lies in Spare, the lies that Harry said in his interviews about his father and his...
Meghan Markle is feeling serious heat right now, and it's getting messy fast. What she tried to keep low-key has completely blown up, and now it's everywhere, non-stop, impossible to ignore. Tom Bauer's book Betrayal didn't just release quietly, it exploded straight to #1 on Amazon, and people can't stop talking about it. This is literally the opposite of what Meghan would have wanted. Reports suggest she's genuinely frustrated with how this spiraled, and honestly, it's easy to see why. This thing got out of control quick. Now all eyes are locked on her. What do you even do in a situation like this? When something you tried to shut down suddenly becomes the biggest topic online, dominating headlines and conversations everywhere? At first, she didn't stay quiet. She reacted immediately.
The whole family knew long before the wedding that Meghan was going to be trouble. As I describe in the book, there was a very famous member of the establishment who every 3 or 4 weeks sat with Meghan in Kensington Palace for more than an hour, explaining to her the job of being a part of the royal family. And after the 3rd or 4th session, that person reported that she was going to be amazing trouble and didn't believe she'd stay.
As soon as early excerpts leaked, she pushed back hard, calling the book false and unreliable. She even labeled Betrayal as full of conspiracy claims. But here's where things took a turn. Tom Bauer didn't just drop opinions, he backed it up with detailed research and sources that people started paying attention to. Then it got personal. Meghan didn't just criticize the book, she went straight at Bauer, calling the entire project a deranged conspiracy. That move was supposed to shut everything down, but it backfired badly. Instead of backing off, Bauer stood firm and doubled down, making it clear this wasn't rushed work. It was built over years. And here's the twist. Her strong reaction didn't slow anything down. It actually made things bigger.
Well, a member of the royal family, your ambition isn't clearly material. I mean, he had all the money he needed. He had all the fame he needed. He had the applause he needed. The point about Meghan is she was looking for fame. She was looking for applause. She was looking for international recognition, which, of course, she failed to get because she had not enough time.
The controversy didn't hurt the book. It boosted it, straight to the top of the charts. What really stands out is how Bauer handled all this. No panic, no emotional reactions, just calm confidence, even a bit of a smirk energy. In interviews, he basically admitted he welcomes the criticism because controversy brings attention and attention drives sales. What was meant to hurt him ended up helping him big time. The book basically turned into massive free promotion, and not by accident. From Tom Bauer's point of view, when high-profile figures come out swinging against his work, it doesn't weaken it. It amplifies everything. The louder the reaction gets, the more people start asking questions. And curiosity, that turns into clicks, searches, and straight-up sales fast.
The problem is that Meghan has huge ambition. She is a very resilient, attractive woman to look at, and because of the mystery. But actually, there's a lack of talent. She wasn't a great actress. She's not a great television performer. She was terrific at dishing the dirt, or her dirt, on the royal family, and she reached...
He even described Meghan's reaction as an unexpected advantage, something that worked in his favor almost instantly. Betrayal didn't slowly build momentum, it exploded. Within days, it shot straight to #1 on Amazon, and that kind of jump only happens when everyone starts paying attention at the same time. And here's the pattern Bauer pointed out. It's hard to ignore. The more pushback from Meghan and Prince Harry, the stronger the book performs. Every denial doesn't shut things down. It pulls more people in. He even joked that all the outrage is keeping his bank account very comfortable, which says a lot about how this situation flipped. What was supposed to be damage control ended up doing the exact opposite.
She's selfish, only self-opinionated, unable to see anything other than through her own lens, as she would say. Appalling treatment of her father and her friends, old friends. A very conflicted personality. But worst of all for her is that she couldn't find huge fame and fortune on her own accomplishments. Her problem is she has very limited talent. Isn't a great actress, to say.
Newspaper excerpts, heated media debates, and constant online discussions kept the story alive 24/7. Betrayal became impossible to escape. It was right there, front and center, every time people logged in. Bauer even compared this to past situations where celebrity backlash boosted his earlier books too. His message is blunt: royal outrage equals publicity. And in his view, Meghan and Harry's post-royal strategy just isn't delivering the way they expected. The original plan seems simple: step away, secure independence, and cash in on major media deals. Big agreements with Netflix and Spotify were supposed to lock in long-term success, influence, and stability.
Totally, utterly, is #1 on Amazon. Yes, of course. But the problem with the Sussex is they want to control their own narrative. They don't like people writing about them without their permission.
But things aren't looking that smooth anymore. But critics are saying those big projects didn't really hit the level people expected. And that's where things start getting uncomfortable. Some deals didn't last as long as planned, and that's raising real questions about consistency and long-term income. When the hype is huge but the follow-through feels uneven, people notice fast. If you've been enjoying the content, make sure you're subscribed. I'm planning on doing a giveaway soon, and it's only for subscribers. And behind all of that, there's another issue building quietly, but it's serious. Ongoing legal battles over security are putting major financial pressure on them, especially without royal funding backing it up. Protection alone is reportedly costing millions every single year, and it's all coming out of their own pocket. That kind of expense adds up quick. Over time, it's not just about having money, it's about whether that lifestyle is actually sustainable. That's the bigger question people are starting to ask. The original vision was bold.
But I will tell you that lots of Australian viewers of the Mark Dolan show don't want to see Harry and Meghan. The reason why it went down well in 2018, Paul, is because the Australian public didn't know Meghan Markle very well. Well, they know her now. And what do they know her to be? A gold-digging grift?
Keep global status while gaining independence. But maintaining that level of visibility without royal structure, way harder than it looked on paper. Instead of expanding influence, there are signs things might be tightening. Staying relevant becomes a constant grind, and the spotlight, it's getting harder to hold on to. Then things take an even more controversial turn. Tom Bauer suggests Meghan might eventually look for a way out, arguing that Prince Harry may not be the person she originally imagined. He even floated the idea that she could move on and choose a partner with stronger financial power. Yeah, that claim alone is getting people talking. He backed this up by referencing her past marriage to Trevor Engelson, saying she reportedly returned her wedding ring when that chapter ended before moving on to Prince Harry. It's a bold comparison, and whether people believe it or not, it's definitely adding fuel to the conversation.
All the hopes they had 5 years ago are now begun to unravel, and I think they're facing debt, they're facing desperation, and they're now. What is fascinating about this, of course, because they are global celebrities and because of the effect they have on the royal family and on Britain, that what is the story of the last 5 years? And that I tell, whether it's in Colombia or Nigeria, the writing of Spare, the making of the Netflix series, all this is inside stuff about two very, very interesting people who are products of their.
That suggestion alone raises the tension around everything going on right now. At the same time, efforts to rebuild influence are still happening. Strategic international appearances seem to be part of the plan, aiming to boost visibility again and reshape how the public sees them. But even that hasn't gone smoothly. One planned trip connected to Jordan reportedly ended earlier than expected due to instability in the region. And moments like that only add more uncertainty to an already complicated situation. Soon after, the attention shifted toward Australia, and that move carries serious meaning. Australia isn't just another stop, it has history. Past royal tours, there pulled massive crowds and strong public support. So the idea now seems obvious. Recreate that same energy.
Yikes! Harry's cash crisis. He is flat broke, and this program has been told that as the money runs out, and runs out fast, Meghan will, and I quote, be looking to replace Harry with a US billionaire. You heard me right. Meghan Markle is going to dump Harry and replace him with a US entrepreneur worth.
But here's the problem. The reaction today feels completely different. Petitions opposing the visit have reportedly been gaining traction, and critics are questioning whether any public resources should even be connected to their presence. That's a big shift from the kind of welcome royal tours used to get. At this point, one thing is becoming clear. That royal association, it still holds weight, maybe even more than anything else they have right now. It's the strongest link to global influence, and without it, everything feels a bit weaker. That's why talk of a possible return to the UK alongside King Charles III is such a powerful idea. One shared appearance could instantly change the narrative, restore credibility, and grab worldwide attention in seconds. And this is where things get interesting. The upcoming Invictus Games announcement could play right into that scenario.
Meghan's people say that she's decided to move on and do this for herself because she doesn't need Netflix anymore, and therefore it's a positive own step forward.
As Mandy Rice Davis said, she would say that, wouldn't she? I mean, the point is, of course, it was a complete failure. It was actually crucified by the critics. It had terrible viewing figures. I think it was something like number 3,000 on Netflix's most popular program.
If the event ends up being hosted in the UK, it naturally increases the chances of senior royals showing up. And if that happens, the visuals alone would be massive, headlines everywhere. But it's not that simple. Not even close. Real-world tensions could step in and disrupt everything. The presence of Israeli competitors, combined with ongoing global conflict, could trigger protests and serious backlash. That kind of environment makes any royal appearance extremely sensitive and risky. And King Charles III isn't known for taking unnecessary risks.
And of course, the income has now stopped. Netflix doesn't pay them, Spotify doesn't pay them. She's having to go to Australia for this bizarre health farm encounter where you pay £1,700 to meet her.
You can meet her. I mean, I saw that. Whether you actually meet her one-on-one, I don't know.
Well, I think you do. You can have a photograph taken with
Oh,
her.
right.
They say that most of the people applying for the tickets are journalists.
He's careful, calculated. If there's even a chance of controversy, he could easily stay away. And if that happens, that whole reconciliation angle people are hoping for could fall apart before it even gets started. Without that one defining moment, rebuilding royal credibility becomes a serious uphill battle, and it's starting to show.
Also alleged in the book that a supposedly conciliatory tea-time meeting between Harry and his brother Prince William culminated in Meghan snapping at William and saying, "Get your finger out of my face." It says, you say, and I'd long thought this, that William harboured doubts about Meghan long before the engagement.
There's also growing criticism about how that royal identity is being used. Tom Bauer argues that the Duchess title is now being tied more and more to commercial deals and exclusive, high-priced experiences, and that's where things start raising eyebrows. One example that got people talking was a planned wellness retreat in Australia. Tickets were reportedly priced at a premium, with the big selling point being direct access to Meghan Markle herself. That alone sparked debate, but it didn't stop there.
She's gone to Australia to sell herself at a health congress for £1,700 a time. So it is a story of decline and of desperate attempts to pose as a royal.
More concerns started piling up. Reports pointed to possible issues with venues, accommodations, and even environmental conditions affecting nearby beaches. Suddenly, this wasn't just a luxury event, it became a question of whether it could even deliver what was promised. Now people are openly asking, can this event actually meet expectations, especially with tickets already sold? That kind of uncertainty doesn't help the bigger picture at all. And when it comes to repairing things inside the royal family, the biggest roadblock might be Prince William. From what's being said, he's not interested in reopening that chapter anytime soon. That divide? It looks deep and not easy to fix.
I choose people who don't want to be written about on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secrets. And I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know. I wrote 4 years ago a book about Prince Charles, and it was a story about how he had rehabilitated himself after Diana's death, and how Camilla also had to be rehabilitated. And it was a #1. It was a fascinating story. So when Meghan came along into the scene, I just thought, this is fascinating. How is this going to play out? To tell the truth, I spoke to very few friends of Meghan because she put a fatwa on anyone talking to me who she could. So I sent off dozens and dozens of emails to her friends, and most of them didn't even reply. And obviously I spoke to her father, who loves her still very much, and said, in the end, whatever she is, she's still my daughter. You can't beat the real story. I mean, that's the excitement of writing these sort of books, that in the end, nothing beats the truth, the real.
Old tensions keep resurfacing too. There are claims about a disagreement shortly after Harry and Meghan's honeymoon, where Meghan allegedly confronted Prince William during a private meeting. Moments like that don't just disappear, they stick and they affect trust long term. And that's what makes the current situation so different. They stepped away at a peak moment when global attention was at its highest. But now, instead of growth, there are signs of pressure from every direction: financial, reputational, and strategic. What once looked like a confident move toward independence is starting to feel more like a constant fight to maintain position. The shift is clear, from royal prestige to something much closer to commercial survival. That's the shift people are pointing to, and it looks like even bigger changes could be coming.
I think if Harry and Meghan in any way threaten the royal family from now on, and as they have in the past, William will be minded to do exactly the same, not only to Harry and Meghan, but also their children, because he doesn't need a rival, hostile royal family in California.
While King Charles III is known for choosing stability, there's growing talk that a future under Prince William could be much stricter when it comes to royal titles and how they're used outside official roles. That alone could change the entire game. At the same time, Meghan Markle is still right at the center of all this. Publicly, she looks calm and in control, but behind the scenes, there's a strong feeling that the pressure is way higher than it seems. Her next moves, especially international appearances, don't look random. They feel calculated, like a strategy to reshape her image and take back control of the narrative before things drift any further.
They spend a fortune, not least on security, but their huge mansion in Montecito in California.
For Tom Bauer, the title Betrayal says everything. He argues expectations were broken, trust was tested, and now the consequences are playing out in real time. But even with all that, one thing is clear: writing Meghan off would be a mistake. Her influence is still strong, and one move from her could flip the entire conversation overnight. And there's one possibility people keep coming back to: a tell-all memoir. If that happens, that's not just another story.
As Harry did hope, on their return to Britain in July at the Invictus rehearsals in Birmingham in England. That, in my view, is now looking rather...
That's a direct challenge to the royal institution on a completely different level. And here's where it gets even more intense. The same backlash that was supposed to shut this story down might have actually set the stage for something bigger. Because think about it, if one book caused this much noise, what happens if Meghan decides to tell her side? Now you've got two completely different versions of the same story, both fighting for attention, both trying to win public trust, both dominating headlines at the same time. That's not just drama, that's a full-blown media storm waiting to explode.
He desperately does want to come back. I think that's what the whole Invictus Games in Birmingham was all about and is all about. But I think now he's got a huge problem that they're increasingly unpopular. The king can't face him in the way he wants in public. And Birmingham is the worst place to bring the Invictus Games. Harry's plans, plus the protection, which I don't believe he's going to get the way he wants, is going to make it very, very difficult.
This story isn't slowing down, it's building. And if that response book ever drops, everything could shift overnight. So now the real question isn't just about what already happened, it's about what comes next. Was calling the book a deranged conspiracy a mistake? Or did that one move accidentally make everything bigger? Because one thing is clear, this isn't something she can just stop anymore.